صباح الخير. عناوين اليوم: سناب شات تستحوذ على تقنية وشركة تدعم التقنيات العصبية، خلل في تيك توك، وجوجل تطلق مزايا لمراقبة صحتك الشخصية. يا أهلا وسهلا فيكم ببرنامجكم تك بالعربي، معكم أنا هالة بسام، ومعنا بخلف الكواليس علي. خلونا نبدأ أخبارنا لليوم عن عالم التكنولوجيا. أعلنت مجموعة سناب الأمريكية، الشركة الأم لشبكة سناب شات، الأربعاء عن استحواذها على شركة نيكست مايند الباريسية الناشئة، اللي بتعمل على تطوير تقنية بتقيس نشاط الخلايا العصبية من أجل التحكم في الأجهزة الإلكترونية باستخدام الدماغ. وبموجب هذه الصفقة لم يعلن عن قيمتها حتى الآن، ولكن رح يستمر موظفو نيكست مايند في العمل من باريس. وأشارت سناب شات في بيان لها إلى أنه هذا الاستحواذ سيتيح لها تعميق بحوثها ومشاريعها أيضا في مجال الواقع المعزز، واللي يعني هو المستقبل، خصوصا لناحية نظاراتها الذكية المتاحة حاليا فقط لصانعي المحتوى وليس للجمهور العام. وقدمت نيكست مايند اللي أسسها عالم الأعصاب الفرنسي سيد إنه تقنيتها بكانون الثاني يناير 2020 كانت في معرض لاس فيغاس السنوي للإلكترونيات. واقترحت الشركة الناشئة حينها على المتطوعين وضع عصبة رأس حول جمجمتهم مزودة أجهزة استشعار عم بتقيس كانت الإشارات العصبية، وأيضا يفترض أنه تفهم نوايا الشخص وبترجمها مباشرة إلى تطبيقات مناسبة. وبدأت الشركة في تسليم مجموعاتها للمطورين اعتبارا من كانون الأول ديسمبر 2020 تحديدا. وتبعا لهذه المجموعات عم تباع اللي حكينا عنها بسعر تقريبا يصل إلى 399 دولار أمريكي. وتؤكد نيكست مايند أيضا أنه تقنيتها لا تتطلب زرع شريحة تحت الجلد اللي كثير من الناس متخوفين منها، على النحو اللي اقترحته على وجه الخصوص شركة نوار لينك مثلا، هي شركة ناشئة شارك في تأسيسها الملياردير الأمريكي طبعا إيلون ماسك، مؤسس شركة تسلا. طبعا بالنسبة لهذا الموضوع أوضحت سناب شات أيضا في بيان لها أنه عم بتقيس هذه التقنية النشاط العصبي لفهم نوايا الأشخاص عند التفاعل مع واجهة المعلوماتية، من خلال السماح لكم بالضغط على زر افتراضي ببساطة عن طريق التركيز عليه. وأضافت أيضا الشركة أنه هاي التكنولوجيا ما رح تقرأ الأفكار أو حتى أنه ترسل إشارات للدماغ، لأنه في كثير من الأشخاص ممكن أنه يتخوفوا من هذا النوع من الابتكارات. أما إذا بدنا ننتقل إلى منصة أخرى، وهي طبعا منصة مشهورة جدا بالوقت الحالي، منصة تيك توك، منع الكثير من النجوم الصاعدين على منصة تيك توك من نظام التسجيل بعدما تأهلوا مؤخرا لتلقي مدفوعات مقابل طبعا المقاطع المصورة الرائجة واللي هي بتصير فايرل خاصة فيهم، مما عم بيسبب بحالة من الإحباط وأيضا غضب ما بين صناع المحتوى لتطبيق تيك توك. بتقدم المنصة التابعة لشركة بايت دانس حافز للأشخاص حتى ينشروا مقاطع فيديو تنتشر بشكل كبير وبتصير رائجة، وتخصص أيضا صندوق أموال لمكافأة منشئي المحتوى ممن يتبعهم من جمهور كبير وعندهم عدد فولورز كبير على منصة تيك توك. لكن على مدى عدة أسابيع لم تستطع بعض الحسابات المؤهلة من تسجيل نفسها في الصندوق، كل هذا بسبب خلل تقني. وقال مات موني إنه كان عم بينشر 3 فيديوهات أحد صناع المحتوى يوميا في محاولة لتنمية حسابه على منصة تيك توك والانضمام إلى صندوق الأموال لمنشئي وصناع المحتوى. ولكن منذ التأهل لدخول هذا الصندوق تحديدا خلال الأسبوع الماضي، ضل عم بيراقب ما إذا كان الخلل تقني تم إصلاحه أم لا. طبعا حاول إنه يسجل نفسه أكثر من 20 مرة كل يوم. وللعلم أيضا من أجل تلقي الأموال مقابل المقاطع المصورة اللي بتحطوها على تيك توك، يجب على منشئ وصانع المحتوى جمع 10,000 متابع و100,000 من المشاهدات طبعا ان توتل. وبالإضافة إلى ذلك هذا كله لازم يكون على مدى 30 يوم بالأيام الماضية. طبعا انه يتخطى عمر الشخص ل 18 عام لحتى يصير بلش يحصل على دخل من منصة تيك توك. منصة تيك توك من أكثر المنصات اللي عم بتشجع بشكل كتير كبير على الإبداع وأيضا على الحصول على دخل، سواء من خلال اللايفز والبث المباشر وأيضا من خلال الفيديوهات اللي بتصير النتائج على المنصة الخاصة فيها. ولكن أكيد لا شك إنه ما بي يعني ما بيخلص الموضوع من موضوع له علاقة مثلا بخلل تقني وغيره، لأنه بالنهاية الموضوع له علاقة بالتكنولوجيا، ولكن نحن متأكدين إنه منصة تيك توك رح تقوم على حل هذه المشكلة والخلل التقني. أما إذا بدنا ننتقل إلى عملاقة التكنولوجيا، طبعا عم نحكي عن جوجل. الآن أعلنت شركة جوجل يوم أمس تحديدا الخميس عن أحدث خطط لاستخدام الهواتف الذكية لمراقبة الحالة الصحية لمستخدميها، وقالت إنها رح تختبر ما إذا كان تسجيل نبضات القلب والتقاط صور لمقلة العين يمكن أن يساعد الناس في اكتشاف مشاكلهم الصحية من المنزل. وقالت جوجل أيضا أن سجلت نتائج مبكرة وكانت واعدة جدا باستخدام كاميرات احترافية في العيادات، ورح تبحث الآن ما إذا كان يمكن استخدام صور الهاتف الذكي أيضا. وقالوا أيضا بالإضافة إلى ذلك، وبعض المختصين في الذكاء الاصطناعي تحديدا في مجال الصحة في شركة جوجل، أن الشركة عم تجري إخبارات لمعرفة ما إذا كان الميكروفون المدمج بالهاتف الذكي يمكنه قراءة دقات القلب، وأيضا عند وضعه يعني تحطوا مثلا الموبايل على الصدر مكان القلب. وقال أيضا أنه القراءات يمكن أن تتيح الكشف المبكر عن اضطرابات صمامات القلب. وأضاف أيضا أن الأمر لن يكون بدقة التشخيص الطبي طبعا، لكنه قد يتيح معرفة ما إذا كان هناك خطر عم بيتفاقم مثلا حتى يقوم الشخص بزيارة الطبيب مباشرة. وكانت جوجل قد أعلنت العام الماضي عن تقنية تتيح قياس نسق ضربات القلب وأيضا التنفس باستخدام كاميرات الهواتف الذكية، وهي خاصية متاحة الآن على العديد من الأجهزة من خلال تطبيق جوجل فيت، طبعا الناس فيها تستخدمه. هذه كانت كل أخبارنا الصباحية لليوم. خليكم معنا بعد الفاصل مقابلتنا مع نيكولاس واتسون، الشريك المؤسس والرئيس التنفيذي لشركة يو درايف. خليكم معنا ولا تروحوا لبعيد.
Hey guys, I'm Richard Fitzgerald. This is Dubai Works, where we interview the business leaders making a difference in this great city.
That business with scalability was very interesting to me.
I like building something that has legacy.
And we're back with our guest, Nicholas Watson, CEO and co-founder of UDrive, the first car sharing app. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you for being with us. First of all, can you give us a brief about UDrive? When did you start it?
Yeah, so we started in 2017. We rent cars by the minute, the kilometer, and the day. So anybody can rent the car as long as they have a driver's license and they're qualified to drive in the UAE and the Middle East. And our cars are everywhere. So you can pick them up from your house.
Literally everywhere.
Yeah, literally. And you can pick it up from the house and you can drive it to your neighbor if you want to. It's not, you may not want to do that, but you can because we rent by the minute.
Yeah, but how was that for the consumer behavior? Because especially here in the GCC, people are used to own their own car. So how did you change the consumer behavior?
We looked at the problem of renting a car, which is a historic industry that has a lot of friction. You need deposits. You have to go to a location to pick up the car. There's a person that walks you around the car. There's a lot of friction in all of that. And most people then, for one day, don't want to go through the hours of work to do that. So we said, let's just remove all that. So we did. So we removed it. The parking is included. The fuel is included. You can pick the car up outside your house. You can drive it to your school or your friend's house and then just leave it there. And then the next person will rent it as well.
And zero human interaction.
Zero.
And that adds to me, like, how was COVID as well during that period?
Yeah, so it was difficult for us because obviously we had the sanitization in the UAE. So for 2.5 months, we were not able to operate. So the cars sat on the street for 2.5 months and the batteries degraded and stuff like that. So when we were able to operate, we had to jumpstart 550 cars. We had to clean them up. We had to prepare them. So that took another 1 month to 1.5 months. But after that, the demand came back straight away. We've not had any problem with customers. In fact, our biggest problem is we don't have enough cars for the customers.
And how was that financially, like during COVID?
When you go from making millions of dirhams a month to zero overnight, it's a bit of stress. But we've been there, we've done that, we survived. It made us much stronger. We learned a lot. And we also had a little bit of downtime to think about what we want the product to become. So we have some amazing product coming up in the next 6 months.
I think most people and startups, even that's what the positive side of COVID, let's say, it's the downtime, the let's pause and think.
Yes.
What can we do better? But can you share with us, like, how did you overcome, first of all, and the lessons you've learned from COVID?
Lessons we learned.
As if it's gone. We talk as if
it's a life lesson. Yeah. It's never as bad as it looks. That's for sure. And there's always a solution to a problem. It's how much you want to invest to try and find it. That's more of an internal thing for anybody who's an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
I think the next thing after that is, do you have the best product? And if you don't, innovate towards it so that customers want your service more and more when you do come back online. We're very fortunate because in this region, you have a lot of transient people. So they come in for 1 week or 1 year or for a couple of years. And so they don't want to invest or in a fixed product. So they don't want to buy a car. They don't want to take a long lease. They need something short-term or mid-term. And that's exactly what we play to. Plus all the younger generation have the Netflix effect, whether it's going from dating all the way down to going to a restaurant. They want it on demand now and only when they want it. So the fact is we are like the most on-demand platform you have for renting a car. And we do over 30,000 rentals a month with 400 cars.
Wow.
So it means we have a lot of usage.
Can you share with us the demographic? Like, who are the most people who would use UDrive?
The biggest age group is 23 to 32. Then you have a slight break between 32 and 38. And then you have another bracket of 38 to 43. And we found that what's happening is the younger generation don't want to invest. They're starting their careers. They want to keep the cash for whatever they want. They just want to get from point A to B or drive a Mustang for date night or something like this. Then they mature in their role and they want to splash some money on a nice fancy car. And then they realize after 3 years, that was a waste of money.
100%.
And then they come back to us. And then that's what happens is they end up taking the cars with us only when they need it. And the fact is COVID just proved the point. Lots of people realize you can work from home and you don't need to go to the office every day. So what's happening is companies are like, well, work from home. And they're like, well, okay, sure. Then I don't need my car.
Yeah.
And you save thousands of dirhams a month doing that. And then you just take a U-Drive whenever you need it.
100%. But the competition became high a bit in the sharing, car sharing apps, and even like per minute in the region as well.
Yeah.
It's expanding. We didn't see it honestly before. And you're doing a great job in influencer marketing as well, and marketing in general. What's the strategy there, and how did it help you?
We've always been focused on transparency and good pricing. So we don't gouge our customers. So when the Expo came, all the rental car companies doubled their rental prices for the month. We didn't, because we want to be seen as the best value for money. And we're more about giving mobility than squeezing the customer, because if you squeeze a customer, they remember it. And they won't think of you the next time. They'll think of whoever's going to be the best, somebody who comes next to us. Loyalty is very, very important to us. Plus, our brand is very obvious what it is. You drive. You can't get any more direct than that. And the idea is that the car is always available to you. So we have pockets of servicing where in the marina, in the greens, we have the most density of customers, the most density of cars. And then we're expanding the fleet to provide more and more cars. So in the end, our biggest learning and our biggest lesson was, don't try to be everything to everyone. Service the customers where you can give the best service and expand the business, then start servicing other areas. It's like Amazon trying to serve everybody everywhere. They don't. They start in pockets and then they expand out. Otherwise, you have unhappy customers everywhere.
Exactly. And word of mouth and everything. Like,
correct.
What about the areas, actually? You mentioned it. What are the most areas that people use U-Drive?
Pretty much everywhere you have high density. So you have Silicon Oasis, you have Dira, you have JBR, JLT, the Greens. Those high density communities are the ones where we have the biggest service and the most diversity of fleet. So if you're living in the Greens or Marina, you can pick up a Nissan Sunny or one of the new Toyotas or a Mustang. Mustangs are what everybody aspires to, because it's both men and women, but there's no difference between the two.
That's very interesting stuff you have. And what about, it's very interesting, also the partnerships you guys have done. Like, for instance, you do partnership with big events like Ironman and things like that. That adds a lot to the, even the users as well. Yeah,
look, we're a mobility company. So Ironman is like the ultimate mobility. Exactly. You're running, you're swimming, and you're biking. So we're like, well, let's support those people, because in the end, apart from the brand exposure, we're associating to those elements of aspirational fitness. So why not be there where everybody is that enjoy mobility? 100%.
And like 3 weeks ago, you guys have got an investment for like 5 million. Congrats on that.
Thank you very much.
And the reason is like mainly the goal is expansion.
Yeah, we're now post-COVID. So obviously when we started operating again, the customers came back, but we needed to expand. So we're launching Saudi, we're launching the GCC countries, we're going into other MENAT countries as well. So the money is to help us expand into Saudi. And then we're also having a lot of investors coming to us now because they want to invest in a fast growth story.
What about the culture and the differences in the market? Because like UAE is different than Saudi, and even if you're expanding even in the MENA region, how are you dealing with that?
We look at mobility at a base level. It's a human right. So if you can feed yourself and you can drink water yourself, you should be able to mobilize yourself. The difference is in the regions that we have, it's big distances, it's hot. You can't really walk anywhere because there's huge 9-lane motorways in between different areas. And last mile is always a little bit of an issue in these markets. So it doesn't matter whether you live in Saudi or in the UAE, you still need to be mobile. Culturally, how people drive, that's what you're really getting at here. It's people drive very differently in different countries. 100%. So we won't get into like the debate of who's the better driver. But in the end, for us, the markets are already mature enough to have designed themselves around cultures of driving. So when people say in the UAE, people drive a bit better than they do in Saudi, the whole Saudi market has been designed around that. So insurance, damage, all of this.
Exactly.
So when people say, oh, what are you going to do? I'm like, well, what does everybody else do? There's rental car agencies in Saudi, so it doesn't matter. It's just culturally the same thing. And
you save a lot of headache for the consumers and the users, honestly, because the fact that insurance and all of that, like, and zero human interaction. So I see the car from my phone, I
Yeah.
use it. That's really great. Can you tell us more about the logistic part of even partnerships with fleets and things like that?
Yeah.
Because you have so many brands.
Yes.
Yeah.
We have, because we have thousands of people on the platform using the cars, a lot of the agencies and the manufacturers want the brands on the platform because there's a lot of exposure. At some point, customers will mature out of micro rental, like 1 minute or 1 day rental, and they might want to go to 1 year. We don't do 1 year at the moment. So for them, they leave our platform and they go to a long lease or they go somewhere else, and that's fine with us because we're focusing on this core part at the moment. So for us, the agency relationships and the manufacturers relationships are key to us because we're capturing an audience that nobody else targets. And so they want that because it's like giving your kids Happy Meal,
Yeah.
right? They eventually grow up to eating McDonald's their entire life, right? So we're aspiring to that. And of course, when we do go into longer term rental and stuff, we will then continue the chain with the customer once we offer it.
And for customers, like you said, like 1 minute or 1 day, but like for instance, for long distances, like let's say someone wants to go from Dubai to Abu Dhabi or Al-Ain or whatever, it works and it's the same payment system?
Same thing. The cars have, you have a fuel included. If you need to refuel the car, you just go to the gas station, they refuel it. They don't charge you, they charge us. We pay you to refuel the car.
Wow.
So you get 15 minutes of free credit. So you can recharge and then go for your trip and you have another 15 minutes included. So you can go to Abu Dhabi and back as long as you bring the car back to the same city that you took it from.
Okay.
We do allow you to go from Abu Dhabi to Sharjah and leave the car in Sharjah, and then there's sort of like an intercity fee, but most people drive back to Abu Dhabi.
Wow,
not a
that's
one-way
really
trip,
interesting.
There are rules and regulations, so you can't always do that between Abu Dhabi and Dubai, but that's not on us. That's just on, we follow the rules in the market. So yeah, you can take a 1 day car and keep it for 7 days. You don't have to end your trip, but you are paying 7 days times 1 day.
Obviously,
but that's convenient because customers like flexibility. Do I need it for 7 days? Do I need it for 5 days? I don't know.
It's the commitment part.
Let them have the choice. After 24 hours, they're like, I need it one more day.
Yeah.
Let them have it.
Yeah.
Let them keep the car for another day.
Exactly, it's the freedom of choice here.
Yeah.
That's really great. What about the tech aspect of the application? Because we know behind the scenes there are so many challenges. So tell us about that.
So each car is fully digitized. So we have two-way communication with the car. We can open the car, we can lock it, we can immobilize it, we can flash the lights, we can beep the horn, we can do some cool stuff. We can tell if the windows have been left open.
That can be really scary.
Yeah, so we do this because in the end, the customer experience is designed to make it easy for you. So when you open up the mobile phone, you literally just see a map with a car.
Okay.
And then you click it and then it opens. On the back end, there's this whole chain of events that go on that's what makes us unique, is that we make that chain of events really easy for the customer. If you had to do a lot of the stuff we do, you would never rent the car.
100%.
Right? And the idea is you should never need a key. You can just open the car, get in the car, start it and drive, and then end your trip. And we have a lot of really cool product coming out over the next 6
You're
months.
not going to reveal
I
anything.
can't reveal it right now, but we will have another chat when we launch it all.
For sure. That's really amazing because I like to shed light on what's behind the scenes because the consumer and the user, they only see what's on the app. And then if something, the minor thing doesn't work, they're like, oh, it's not working and things like that.
You know, it's hard because we rely on the internet, we rely on the positioning of the car. Sometimes the cars have malfunctions in terms of the electrics or anything like that. So customers can have frustration, but we literally pick up the phone within 1 minute when you call us, and then we deal with the problem. So if we can't remotely open it or there's an issue, we will send another car to you straight away.
Yeah.
So if it's our fault, we replace. It's simple. If you break down with the car, we don't publicize it, but if you break down with the car, we bring another car to you. You get out of it and you get in the next car and you drive off.
Sorted.
So no rental car companies do this. Why? Because they don't have cars
Obviously.
decentralized like we do.
Yeah.
And our guys always show up on time. If you do have the unfortunate situation where you have an accident, which unfortunately does happen, our service teams are on the ground. They show up, they're with you and the police. So most people call us first and then they call the police.
Wow.
Which they probably shouldn't be doing, but they do because they know that we'll call the police or we'll help. And we know your location, so we can help the police get there. And for people who are first-time drivers or they're not experienced in the city, this is like a major saving for them because it reduces the stress.
100%.
Accidents are stressful enough as they are, let alone having to deal with the police and then knowing what to do next. So we're there on the ground.
But the customer service, then it's like massive part of the business.
Yeah, it's a key component. This is why
Yeah.
we have some key investors that are behind the scenes. One of them is one of the founders of Amazon,
Yeah.
or Souk in the region. The reason why they've invested is because we're more about the customer experience. Obviously, for us, we've got a lot to work on. We're not perfect, and we're going from startup into scale up.
Yeah.
So as you scale, you start to recognize more and more things you need to spend time on. And so we are investing a lot of money in the back end operations.
Yeah.
The app will still the same.
Yeah.
But the operations in the back end become a lot more efficient for the customers, so we can scale for the customer.
And in your personal journey
Yeah.
in entrepreneurship, can you share with us like one lesson for entrepreneurs who want to start their own business, but then they're scared, for instance?
Well, everybody says it, find something you love.
Yeah.
But really, if you have a job and you want to delve into something new, the best way is to surround yourself with people who are already doing it in a certain space and start to learn from them. It takes a couple of months for you to understand how to build a startup.
Yeah.
Just read a lot online and then start testing it. Call up a few people, pitch them the idea, see if they understand what you're pitching, and then just start incubating it.
Yeah.
And then if you feel like you want to quit your job and you have enough cash to go do it, then do it. Or find yourself an investor. But if you do start in an entrepreneurial journey and you need to start raising money early, you need to start learning to pitch early.
100%.
That is absolutely key.
100%. I agree. Thank you so much, Nick,
to
for
meet you.
being with us, and thank you for being here.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. شكرا لكل الناس اللي تابعتنا. أنا بشوفكم يوم الاثنين بنفس الموعد. نهاركم سعيد جميعا.